Welcome, everyone, to episode number 1 of Talking to Myself on a Bench. I am Uriah Wesman. I'm currently in Union Square, someplace in New York. I'm still trying to get my bearings of where I am and what I'm doing. I've been here for a week, and my spirits have gone from 10 to a 0, back up to a 10 to a 5. It's been all over the place, so I figured, why not just up the ante in the craziness of moving from a relatively small town in Santa Barbara to New York City, in the off chance that I'm one of those special people that maybe do make it as a comedian, even though the odds are stacked against me. And now I'm talking to myself on the bench, and really at this point, if this recording is even working or this doesn't work out, I genuinely have just gone full crazy. All that's missing is I go ahead and get myself a loaf of bread, and feed some of these birds, and get myself a family. That's really where the dream is. Getting yourself a family, and the birds will probably leave me too once the bread's gone, right? It's been fun. I've gone ahead and done 11 mics since being here, and going to 5 of them, with either of them being canceled. They're filming in it, and I was talking to one of the PAs, the production assistants, and apparently it's really booming in the film industry. It's really good when you hear that a different economy that you're not involved with jobs and money, is going good. It's always good to know that other people are making more money than you. With that, I was on the subway, and the homeless people, they do this thing where they give a spiel. They go up and they be like, "Hey, I don't mean to bother anybody," and then they say a couple lines. And I was sitting on the subway, and then I watched this homeless person make $20. Put in the context, I lose $15 to $20 a day going to telling jokes to other comedians that are doing the same exact thing, just writing their jokes down, doing their 5 minutes, and then leaving. And it's miraculous. I'll give you a little insight to people that are familiar with what it's like to be an open micer. It's a treacherous battle. You're battling every day the demons of just the ghost of all the people that have gone on that stage and took the biggest shit of their life. Even though they've probably been waiting 2 to 3 hours to go on, they get up there and they're like, "Hey, what do I want to talk about? What do I want to do?" "Hey, man, we're in the same boat, and you just paid $14 to say you don't know what you want to talk about? You're wasting all of our time and mine." So being here, day 1, I ended up meeting with another comedian from Santa Barbara that is living here, Paul Clay. And we went to a mic and ended up paying $11 to do 4.5 minutes. It costs $5 for the mic, and then it costs $5 for a bottle of water that we didn't even need. And then they charged an additional $1 because he used Venmo. And what happened, there was about 8 comics in there. This was called the Laughing Buddha. And you would think, okay, people have gone to the store, they bought the pens and paper, they wrote that joke down, they want to tell that joke, they're ready, they're committed enough to pay the close to the $14 with the minimum wage here being in New York City. They're gonna go up there, they're gonna at least try to do their material. No, that's not what's gonna happen. People are gonna go up there and be like, "Hey, you already hate me." It's like, we don't already hate you. We hate you because you're going up there and saying we hate you, and you're not even telling any jokes, and you're wasting our time. Always, anytime I'm at a show, anytime I'm at open mic, I'll at least be attentive to the other comedians out of respect, even if they don't show me the same respect. It's about, really, it's not that cliche, treat others the way you want to be treated, but you know what, I'm going to at least listen to see what that comedian has, because if I want to start producing my own show, I want to know what the good comedians are. But no, it was comic after comic doing. It's so generous. The even column that it's really, if you're going up there and you're yelling about something that's not even a joke or anywhere to laugh, what you're really doing is you're the same as that person standing on the street corner yelling about being the fourth, fifth coming of Christ. So paying that amount of money is such a new thing. $11 for 4.5 minutes. My heart sank. It hasn't sank like that since I was addicted to the roulette wheel when I was 18, going to Lethbridge, Alberta, losing all my money while working at A&W. So, although I'll tell you guys about my living situation, I'll also be telling the pigeons and the person across the street, across the bench from me, that appears to be looking at me like, is this guy talking to himself? I don't see a phone. I mean, I have a coffee in my hand, which means that at least I have a little bit of a hustle if I was just a crazy homeless person to be able to at least get caffeinated, and maybe I should be prioritizing eating food. What am I even talking about? What am I even doing? Is this audio even going to come out? Whatever. So because I'm trying to save money, and I didn't realize I would find a place within 3 days with another comedian. I didn't think that would happen. I'm staying at an Airbnb, which is a makeshift hostel, because I wanted to save $200. And I'm like, how bad could it be? Well, there's a room with 4 other men, and every single one of them snores. And one of them snores constantly, even when they're awake. It's like they're a pig. They just snort, and then they're really loud. And I'm trying to be considerate. I'm like, why? They're not being considerate of me. So I got this friend. It's like, hey, you want to go see a Broadway musical? It's like, no. Every night I'm reliving a terrible rendition of the Three Little Pigs every night. And I'm starting to think, okay, in what part would I be able to smother these people with a pillow? These blood-sucking vampires that are stealing my REM cycle that I need to keep myself sane. But at no point in my life did I think that I would be creating a podcast where I'm genuinely just talking to myself with glares. No one cares, though. It's such a fun place to be that no one really gives a shit in this city, and it's amazing. And it's really amazing overall. But most recently, I went to a nooner mic, and the host, before we got started, said there's 2 spots open for a show. That's all they said. I'm like, okay, this is great. Doesn't sound like a bringer. So at the end of it, she's having a conversation with a couple other people, so I'm just kind of hanging around waiting for that to be over. I don't want to be weird and interrupt. And then she stops the conversation that she's having with the 2 other people, and then says, "Excuse me, do you need something?" And I mean, I'm just a socially awkward guy, but as long as I have a microphone in my hand, I'm better now. Which just goes to say how deranged it is just to be myself. And I'm like, yeah, I'm interested in that show you were saying you have some spots for. She's like, yeah, go ahead and send the clip to me. And I'm in my head, send the clip, you just watched my set. Granted, it was an open mic set, but you can see I have material and jokes. Why not there was laughing? It's hard to make people laugh at noon when no one wants to be in the room in the first place. And she's like, and by the way, it's a 5-person bringer show. And if you're not familiar with what that means is that I need to bring 5 people paying $15 to $20 a ticket. $15 to $25 a ticket, as well as a 2-drink minimum, $10 for those subs. That's $20. So you're looking at $35 to $40 to take your friends, family to go see a show that's called a New Talent Showcase, because that's where people like Jerry Seinfeld or Chris Rock have come out of. And that's not true. Back in that day, bringer shows didn't exist. You didn't see Jerry Seinfeld bringing 5 of his friends to go watch him tell jokes. That wasn't a thing. But because of such an abundance of comics, all the clubs can do is they can just exploiting this. That's why you have to be creative with your stage time and not rely on the same thing that all other comedians are doing. So just give you context of what one day was. Because I went to a mic, waited about 2 hours to do 3 minutes to a mic stand that was broken. The mic barely worked. Really, I'm so glad I didn't have to pay for this. And I was doing the show for myself, the host, and 2 other comedians. and I decided to have the respect to stay and watch the other two, and I should have left. I think it would have been better for them to just realize that no one wants to hear what they have to say in the first place, and I was really starting to feel down. So there's one other mic. I decided to go out to Brooklyn, try out a mic there, and I had to pay $7 for a drink. I mean, it is what it is. It's really hard to try to cut down drinking or be healthier when the only options when you go is to pay $5 for a bottle of water, $7 for a beer, or you're getting some sort of soda that's completely unhealthy. It's just that, I don't know, what am I even complaining about at this point? I want to imagine if I was just explaining this to someone from a third world country. You do what? I think it's more. They would think it's more crazy than their lives, and I'm paying $15 to try to live my dream. And what ended up happening is, it was a bunch of newer comedians. You could tell because there's a vibe in the air that isn't pure hatred. And the show went really, really well, and it was amazing. There wasn't one dick joke the entire time, and if you're a comedian listening, you know every single person writes a terrible dick joke, a joke about porn, a joke about and it's not even a good. It just makes everyone uncomfortable. And why are you writing the same thing as everybody else? What, were you trying to get on late night with that? You're not gonna get no one has made it because of a dick joke, unless I'm wrong. So please let me know. So go ahead and I will end this terrible, incoherent rant and edit this out. I also did a part of this podcast yesterday in Central Park. So I'll go ahead and split the audio and see the fun there. But I'm going to end this show by giving you an audio clip of me kind of congratulating the open mic for actually talking about real things, whether or not there's jokes in it. They're actually diving into their real personal lives, which takes a lot more courage than going up there and telling another stupid dick joke. And I've been a crazy guy sitting in Union Square, talking to himself, fitting right into New York City. I have a bit of a cold. That's why I'm kind of monotone, and if you've made it this far, go ahead, like and subscribe, whatever I put this on. This has been Uriah talking to myself on a bench.
I just moved here like a week ago, and already I've probably heard like 1,000 dick jokes. So it's been so refreshing to actually watch a bunch of comics get up and actually talk about real things. So I'm almost like flustered, like, this is amazing. Like, what have I done? I moved here just to watch a bunch of people tell dick jokes? No!
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.